Story of the time I helped my friend propose to his girlfriend in high school. We will name him Steve. So this was the dynamic of our friend group. Me, Steve, his girlfriend, and my best friend at the time. We'll name my best friend at the time Kate. I'm just going to refer to his girlfriend as his girlfriend. Anyway, Steve and his girlfriend were dating for a while. He was a senior and she was a junior. Their relationship was pretty toxic, not gonna lie. They talked about moving in together, they talked about having kids together, so they were pretty serious. Even though they were serious though, their parents wouldn't let them date. So the only time they could see each other was in school. Anyway, he decided he wanted to make a really big poster that said, "Will you marry me?" and hang it on a wall in school. So Steve and my best friend at the time, I forget what I named her, they stayed up really late one night making a poster. I forget why, but I couldn't go for some reason. But I met them at school really early the next day at like 7. Mind you, school started at like 8:30. And we find the perfect spot to hang the poster. All the way in the back of the school by the locker rooms in between the girls and the boys' bathroom. So his girlfriend comes in, sees the poster, cries, says yes, but they broke up a few weeks later. If you're a girl and you don't like when guys come up to you and ask you for your number or your Snapchat repeatedly and don't leave you alone, I have the perfect solution for you. So today I went to the mall and I was waiting in line at Chick-fil-A and there was a bunch of guys staring at me. I was just waiting for one of them to come up to me because I knew it was gonna happen. So eventually I'm by myself and one of them comes up to me. They ask me how old I am and if I can give them my Instagram. Now usually I would be like, "No, sorry, I have a boyfriend." But that doesn't actually stop them from continuing to ask you because most guys don't care. So I tried a new method today. I said, "I'm sorry, I'm gay." And he looked really surprised. And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm a lesbian, sorry." And this happened in front of all of his friends. He may have been caught off guard, but you know, he left me alone. Sometimes this might not work though, because a guy came up to me while I was walking out of the bathroom and he was like, "Yo, you got a boyfriend?" And again, because it worked so well the first time, I was like, "No, I'm gay." And he was like, "Me too, what's your snap?" It was just really funny, I can't. So when I was 12, I was dating a 16-year-old. And we dated for like 2 years. So when I was 14, he was 18, just to put it in perspective. I always avoid telling this story just because I'm really scared to, because of the people that are involved, because they really discredit my experience. It was really scary dating him. This is really deep, I'm sorry. He would do things like make me stay on the conversation so that it always said read. I wasn't really allowed to post pictures, and if I did, he would get so mad. I wasn't allowed to wear certain clothes, and when he started to drive, he would show up at my school bus just to see if I was wearing leggings or a belly shirt. And I really wanted to pierce my belly button at that age, but he stopped me from doing that for so long. Until on Valentine's Day, I finally did, and he was going to take me out to eat. But when he found out about my belly ring, we sat in his room, and he grabbed it and told me that if I didn't take it out, that he wasn't going to take me out to eat. I had to pretend that my phone got taken away all the time so I wouldn't have to talk to him. And eventually, I started talking to another boy. And he found out and set me up. Let me know if you guys want to hear that story. Story of the time I realized I was adopted. So my adoption was an open adoption, which means that my parents didn't keep it a secret from me. And I've always known my birth family, well, on my mom's side. But even though I was given this information when I was young, it definitely didn't register with me. The first time I was confused about this, I was in 1st grade. We were making Mother's Day cards, and I remember being really confused because I know my birth mom, but I have my actual mom that I call mom at my house. Hold that thought, guys. I hit 2 million followers on TikTok, and I teamed up with Model 1 so I could do a giveaway for you guys. I'm giving away a polygel kit that has a bunch of goodies in it, and also an entire acrylic system kit. I'll show everything that I'm giving away at the end of the video. Make sure you head over to my Instagram so that you could enter. Anyway, I raised my hand and I asked my teacher, do I give it to my birth mom or my real mom? And she was like, "What are you talking about?" And then I was just embarrassed, so I said, "Never mind." And then another time, my mom was like, "Your sister's birth was so easy." And I was like, "Really? How was mine?" She was like, Story of the time me and my best friend went into a guy's house that we didn't know. But first, I know you guys have seen these polishes all over Instagram, and they're really hard to find right now because everywhere is selling out. Well, I'm here to tell you that Born Pretty is back in stock, and you can get them on Amazon. I'll leave the link in my bio so you guys could check it out. But anyway, so we were in 7th grade, and my best friend lived in a neighborhood where a lot of kids from our school and from the high school lived at. So pretty much every day after school, I would either go home with my best friend on her bus or her mom would pick us up. So one day her mom picks us up, and we notice a few unfamiliar faces, boy faces, which meant that they had to be in high school. So we were really excited, obviously. We get into her house, we do our hair, do our makeup, put cute clothes on, and then we decide to go for a walk. So we walked past the boys playing basketball once, and then a second time, and then a third time, and probably a 4th and 5th time, until they finally called us over. Come to find out their parents weren't home. Story of the time me and my best friend went into a guy's house that we didn't know. Part 2. So they end up calling us over to them. And the boy whose house it was said that his parents weren't home. We asked them what grade they were in, and they were sophomores. And we were in 7th grade. But we lied and we said that we were freshmen, but that we went to a different school. Anyway, it started to get a little bit dark out, so they asked if we wanted to go inside. So we said yes, obviously. Me and my friend went into the bathroom and we started talking about which boys we thought were cute. And we also started talking about which ones we wanted to kiss. So we go back out and they're sitting on the couch watching TV. 2 of the boys ended up leaving, so that left 3 boys and 2 girls. The guys that were still there were the ones that we thought were cute, except for the one. And the one guy definitely realized quick that neither of us wanted him, which I guess made him make these really disrespectful jokes. He was like, "I'm hungry, which one of you wants to make me a sandwich?" And then he spilled his drink and said, "Which one of you ladies wants to clean it up?" At the final straw, he goes, "Why don't you guys get on the table and start dancing for us?" Story of the time my friend made me lie to my parents. So I was either 15 or 16, and it was one of the first time that I tried. So we did a lot of that, and then we went back to her house. I started to get really paranoid, and it felt like I was floating, and every sound that I heard felt like it was echoing. I ended up getting so scared that I texted my mom and asked her to pick me up and told her what we were doing. My friend ended up seeing my phone and started freaking out. But my parents were always laid back as long as I told them the truth. And I told her that, but she still freaked out. So she told me to call my mom and tell her that we were pulling a prank on her so that I could stay. You could tell my mom thought I was lying because she was like, "Okay, well, I'm still gonna come pick you up." Mind you, I was supposed to sleep over. But my friend really didn't want me to leave. So she came up with this great plan. She told her little siblings to go up to my parents' car when they got there and pretend to be laughing because they fell for the joke. And my parents are not dumb. And her siblings were not actors. So my parents end up coming, like, for part 2. Story of the time my friend made me lie to my parents, part 2. So my mom was not falling for it. She was like, "No, I'm gonna come pick you up." So she gets to my friend's house. And like I said, my friend did not want me to leave. And she didn't want to get caught for... So she came up with this elaborate plan that her little siblings were gonna go up to my parents' car and pretend like they're in on the joke. Like I said in my last video, her little siblings were not actors. All 3 of them were under 10 at the time. So before my mom came, she rehearsed with them what they were supposed to say. She wanted them to say, "Oh my god, that was so funny. You guys fell for the joke. My sister and Mia told us about what they were doing and we thought it was so funny. We didn't know that you were gonna come pick up Mia." But instead, they started to fake cry. And it's so obvious when a child fake cries. They were like, please don't take me away." This whole thing was a prank. It was so obvious, so I was like, I'm just gonna go. So I get in the car, my mom looks at me, and I was like, she made me do that so she wouldn't get caught. Story of the time a police officer pulled me over just to flirt with me. So when I first got my license, I would always go to Wawa in the middle of the night. Usually I would pick up my friend and we would go together. But this night she was busy and I was hungry, so I just went by myself. So I pull up to Wawa and right after I got there, I see a police officer pull up. I didn't think anything of it. So I went inside, ordered my food, and while I was waiting in line to pay, I see the police officer walk in. He was probably in his late 20s, early 30s, really tall and muscular and had blonde hair and blue eyes. Just an overall attractive guy. Right when he walked in, we made eye contact. At the time, I was 17, so I wasn't thinking like, ooh, arrest me, officer. I'm just kidding. But whatever, I pay for my food, go to my car. Then the cop comes out a few minutes after me, and he looks at me while I'm getting in my car. And I was really hungry and not trying to wait to eat, so I watched YouTube on my phone and ate my food in my car. So I finished eating and started heading home. Mind you, there was nothing wrong with my car. I didn't have tints, all my lights were working, and all of a sudden I see cop lights behind my car. So I pull over, and it's lo and behold the cop from Wawa. Story of the time my childhood was ruined for the first time. So basically the house that I lived in my entire life had a giant tree outside in the front yard. I called it my climbing tree. I would climb that tree and hug it and literally talk to it as if it was a person. This is gonna sound really corny, but every time that I got into problems with my neighbor, if you've been here for a while, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Anytime I would have problems with my family, at school, anything in general, I would climb the climbing tree and I would sit on one of its branches and I would just talk to it, you know? I would be like, "You're the only person here for me." And it was a tree. Now that I'm telling this story, I realize how sad it is. Then one bright sunny afternoon, I get home from school. What do I see outside? The landscapers. What do I see on the side of the road? My climbing tree!